Hey you guys, it is Dude Mom here. Okay, hold on. I don't like this camera. It's weird. It's weird. Why is it so weird? It looks weird. How's that? Better? Okay. Alright, it's Dude Mom here, and I don't know if you guys have seen on YouTube and pretty much everywhere this storytelling thing that is going around. I like to be hip and cool. So I am going to do my very own storytelling. Here's the thing though. I'm kind of a boring chick. Like, I don't have a lot of stories that people really want to hear about. So when I was like looking through the blog and Facebook, I feel like probably one of the most universally interesting things that has ever happened to me was my stint on what not to wear. So I figured I would tell you the whole story, start to finish, everything you want to know. The show's off now, so I can't spoil anything, and let's do it. Okay, so I'm still trying to work this camera situation. It's kind of weird. Okay, how's that? Better. All right, so let's talk about what not to wear. I went on What Not to Wear. We filmed the show in 2011, and it aired in 2012. Many of you know me and found my blog, formerly known as Parenting by Dummies, because of my stint on What Not to Wear. It brought tons of traffic to my website. Tons of people, like literally people from other countries, have reached out to me since seeing that episode of What Not to Wear. Fabulous, like I don't love that. But back then in 2012-ish, I didn't really do video, and I had to sort of write down everything that happened on the show. So I felt like this would be a good way to tell my story. So let's do some storytelling. All right, so I can't remember who found the casting thing, but I know that I think I found it and sent it to my best friend. BFF, Vanessa, I never use her name. Anyway, she nominated me for the show. Now, I didn't know that she nominated me for the show. I didn't know that her nomination was taken seriously. I didn't know any of that. I just remember being like, oh my God, wouldn't it be cool if I went on this show? Because I'm addicted to sweatpants. I literally wore sweatpants to the swimming pool. Dude 3 was only like about to turn 3 then, maybe, so he was like 2. I had a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old or 7-year-old, and like life was a mess, right? So I hadn't had my hair cut in like 10 years. I never wore makeup. I had makeup from the 8th grade still, and I pretty much lived in these fleece pants that I still miss to this day because they were fabulous. So anyway, she wrote in, she nominated me for the show, and I guess they picked her up. So I can tell you all of the things that happened in retrospect, but just know that when they were happening, I didn't realize that that's why they were happening. Okay, so the first thing that happened was I remember her calling me randomly during the day and being like, I need you to go with me to Georgetown on Friday, which like I would never go to Georgetown, like ever, especially not on a Friday with my baby in the middle of the day. No, I didn't want to go, but she's like, please, we got to do something. I don't remember what her lie was, but it was something. So we go there, and we're walking out of the mall, and some lady comes up and is like, hey, I'm doing this research for my graduate thesis, and I really need to talk to Mom, so I wanted to know if you had an opportunity, some time to talk to me. And I was like, not really. Like, I don't know. Do you see my baby? And so my best friend was like, it's totally fine, I'll go get a coffee. And she like rolls away with my baby. And I'm like, okay. So she's like, I'm gonna film it. This is my camera guy. We're doing this whole project. And she proceeds to ask me questions about how I dress, how I feel since becoming a mom. Like basic questions. They seem like they could be for some kind of report. I don't know. And we went over my outfit. I was wearing a UC Irvine shirt that I'd had for, I don't know, maybe 7-8 years, and cargo pants and like these really wrecked tennis shoes. But that was my life, and it was raining in my defense. So that was the first thing that happened. Took about 20 minutes, and that was that. So next, I remember lots of weird stuff happening. People are, like my family was constantly texting me like, where are you? Where are you right now? And I'm like, I'm living my life. Can you please? For real. It was crazy because no one ever cared what I was doing. I was a stay-at-home mom at the time. Nobody really, I'm at home, obviously, taking care of my baby as per usual. But then they started inviting me to things like, can you go here with me? Can you go here with me? Let's go downtown. Let's go do this. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I miss my social life a little bit, but this is getting exhausting. So there were some weird things like that, but then everything stopped. It was like, it never happened. So I was suspicious that they were doing something, but then they stopped doing things. So now that I know how the show works, that was the point when they were, you know, filming like background, like breaking into my house and filming inside my closet and like getting footage of me walking around town, taking my kids to the bus stop, which seriously, who dresses up for the bus stop? Right? So that's what was happening then. And then they had everything they needed, I guess, and they left me alone. So then I got this really cool opportunity to go and speak at the museum. They said they wanted an influencer, but they didn't call us that back then. I think they just called us straight up mommy bloggers. They wanted me to come and speak at the museum about new media. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, finally somebody's taking my writing seriously. Burk, not happening. I get there after all this like round, go in the side door, go in the front door. And I'm like, how does a person get into the museum? I guess it was closed or something. So I finally find myself on stage, and there's all these bloggers that I love and respect, like Teach Mama, Amy, and Justice Fergie, Sarah, Stacy from Blogalicious, and like just so many people that I love, and they're all like, and then my family is there, which was weird because I distinctly recall taking my son to school and my husband staying home to babysit the baby, and then my parents are there. And my brother is there, so weird, but hooray, thanks for surprising me. BFF was there. My brother's girlfriend was there. Like, all these people were there, and I'm like, this is not that big of a deal. So I'm kind of nervous because all my family and everyone is in the audience, and I start my speech that I had written, gotten people to edit it, like done all this work. And I start with a couple jokes. People are cracking up in the audience. They weren't that funny. I'm not that funny. And I started to notice the like weird things. They're like cheering, and I'm like, no one's listening to my words. Why are they cheering? And there's people like up in this all over watching. And what I didn't know is on the big screen behind me, Stacy and Clinton were coming out to surprise me. That's what everyone was cheering for. So everyone's cheering, and I'm like starting to sweat profusely because I know something's going wrong. And all of a sudden they bust out and they're like, surprise! You're on What Not to Wear, or whatever they say. I was I don't even know. I was like, what? How is this possibly happening? Like, I mean, I don't even know what I thought. I remember being kind of excited because obviously I want it to happen, but I also, like, I want to change, but I also was like, oh my gosh, I'm the worst. Like, they showed my footage of what I wear and how I look to these people, and they actually were like, ew, she needs help. So anyway, they had this whole thing, and hooray, Amanda, we're going to take you to New York, woo, and all that. And then they whisk me in the back immediately and have all these legal people come in to get me to sign away my life, right? So I'm back there, and I basically have like 5 minutes, probably 25, I don't know, in this little room with this lady who looks very official to get me to sign the papers saying that I'm going to go on the show. They're like, this is sort of a big deal. We made this whole commitment, and my family told me that after, like, when they decided to put me on the show, they were like, is she going to say yes? Because this is a huge thing to, like, bring Stacy and Clinton to D.C. and blah, 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 and, like, is she going to say yes? I said yes. Of course I said yes. $5,000 to spend on clothing, new hair, makeup, a week in New York without all of my crazy everything. Yeah, I'm about to say yeah. So I signed it away. I signed all the papers, like buying a house basically. And then there was this little waiting period because this happened for me right before Thanksgiving. So they take off. Like, everyone goes and celebrates Thanksgiving with their family, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, first, second week of December, can't remember exactly, sometime around there, they tell me to pack up my stuff and come to New York. Now, let's talk about what you bring to New York. because I wasn't a person who lived in New York, I had to travel from DC to New York. And they're like, you know, how many suitcases are we talking about? And I was like, I have like 10. So the producer was like, well, make it 5 and call it a day. They basically wanted to make sure that I had all of the clothing that I most often wear on the show, everything that they filled me in beforehand. And then like my day-to-day clothing. I didn't need that college shirt that I've been holding on to since 1998. I didn't have to bring pajamas, like all my undergarments. I didn't have to bring all that. Just like those cargo pants and that UCI shirt and this one dress that I was obsessed with that was really gross, and this really pink outfit that was like a top and oh, barf. It was terrible. Had to bring all that. So I pack up my bags, I get on the train, and I go to New York for my big experience. Okay, so we get to New York. Not we, me. I'm alone with my 6 bags. There's someone there to meet me at the train station, help me with my bags, and they immediately whisk me off to Intimacy. I think that's what it's called. It's one of these like lingerie type, you know, undergarment stores, and 3 women I've never seen in life come into the dressing room and proceed to fit me for bras and Spanx and body armor and all kinds of just suck it, nip it, tuck it type situations. Seriously, you guys, I had never worn Spanx before. Mine was, and I don't think I could breathe again correctly for like an entire week. So they did all that because your clothes aren't going to fit right if you don't have proper undergarmentage or whatever. So we did that, and then, secret, they took me to meet Ted. So Ted is the hair dude, and I went in and I sat down and we talked a little bit about my hair and how I feel about it and what I want out of it and like all of that. I know on the show it appears that Ted is just meeting you, or whoever, the hair person is just meeting you on that day, but I want to let people know that it's more than that. It's not just like come in and cut your hair and slaughter you. You know, he talked to me about my life as a mom and like things that I could actually do with my hair. He didn't tell me what he was going to do. I had no idea, but he got to look at it to sort of see what he would be working with, you know, later on down the week. So, spoiler alert. So once that happened, I went back to my hotel, and they're like, they gave me this video camera so I could do these nightly, my camera's weird, sorry. How's that? Okay. They gave me this video camera and they said, do your video diaries every night. What you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're expecting, all that. And like, of course, first night in New York, exhausted, overwhelmed, whatever. I probably cried. I don't know. I was a sobbing wreck of a person at the time. But I was very overwhelmed, and I remember being like, oh my gosh, I can't sleep. I'm so tired, but I can't sleep. And like, I don't know what's going to happen the next day. I did my video diary, and then I tried to go to sleep, which of course I couldn't because, yeah, for obvious reasons. So the next morning, they get me bright and early at like 6:30 in the morning, and off I go to the studio. Whew, this is a long story. And we're only on day 1. Okay, so first day in the studio is all about meet Stacey and Clinton, get mortified in the 360 mirror, go through all of your clothing and all that jazz. So we did that, a bunch of different takes. They had to refilm and reshoot and re-say and redo and stand there. And I'm not kidding, like by noon, I was like crying. I was a sobbing mess. They're like, you know, obviously there were a lot of emotional things going on. Like I'm away from my babies for the first time maybe ever, and I'm standing there in a mirror looking at how sad I am, and they're making me talk about all these inner feelings I have about my body since having babies and being a young mom and my husband and just all these things. And then I can't eat for 4 hours, and I was awake all night because I couldn't sleep because of this experience. So of course I was crying, okay? I was sobbing the first day. And then to top all that off, like when they give you a break to go in the room, they're still like in there asking you questions, but how do you feel? And why do you feel this way? I want a taco and a nap, and like, that's all. So I was crying. I was like, ugly cry, ugly cry, ugly cry. Day one finishes like halfway through the day, and then you immediately go out shopping on your first shopping experience. So no one told me this for sure, but I feel like your first shopping experience, you're destined to fail. They take you to a place with like rows and rows of jeans, and I'm a person who doesn't know what jean number I am. Like, am I at 30? Am I at 29? Am I at 48? I don't know. I didn't know. So they take you to a place like that, and they can't help you, and no one directs you, and they're just like, go buy something. I literally bought like a necklace my first time because everything came out like either too big or too tight or too young or too old or too ugly or too something. So I bought a necklace, and then I bought a shirt at the next store. Take you to another store, have the same experience. You go home at the end of the day after like 12 days of shooting, and I can tell you for sure on that night, my video diary was like, oh, I'm the worst, right? Of course. Day two, I believe day two, you meet, this was a long time ago, okay? You meet up with Stacy and Clinton again, and they go over that's right. They go over everything you should, like everything you did wrong the first day. You just analyze all that. And then what you should do now that you have better information. So we watched video of how sad I was, and they asked me questions about like, well, why did you only buy a necklace? You shot for 5 hours, and like all that kind of stuff. And then they helped me in a store find things that I could actually wear. You know, everything from like my earrings down to my shoes. And let me just say a few words about Stacy and Clinton. Stacy and Clinton were amazing. The entire time I was on the show, they were kind, they were helpful, they were funny. They treated me like part of the experience. It wasn't like Stacy and Clinton sit over there and Amanda, the lowly contributor, sits over there. Like, we ate lunch together. I shared sushi with Clinton, okay? Like, they were really kind, and you got to know them, and Stacy's sister came on the set one day, and it was just like, you felt like they actually cared about you. And I like, really, truly, they were just really, really cool people. And even when they were saying mean things about me, I mean, they weren't saying mean things, they were being honest. Like, they warned me first, like, we're about to, like, break you down here, girl, so get ready. You know, and they were funny, and, like, all those things that you see on TV that makes them likable, they really are likable in real life. So I know people think it's, like, all made up and contrived and whatever, and there is a bit of editing involved, I'ma say. But the part about them being genuinely kind, caring people who want you to feel better about yourself afterwards, 100% true. So after I finished with Stacy and Clinton that day, I go out, and it's like whirlwind shopping, like all day. And then like that afternoon, and then the next day, same thing, all day shopping. Here's the thing. How do you get a full wardrobe purchased in like basically 24 hours? You have a stylist, and they help you find the clothes. It's not like Amanda in the store with a shopping cart, like running through, trying on. She's like, try this on, try this on, try this, change this, these things match, whatever, blah, blah, whatever. Try these shoes, this will be great, let's find this. There's another person managing your credit card, keeping up with your budget. There's people carrying your bags. There's people driving you. Like, you don't have to do anything. They bring you food. Like, everything is taken care of, because there's no way you're going to shop $5,000 out in 24 hours unless everything you buy is $1,000. And on that note, it's not. I literally bought a shirt from Madewell on sale for $7. Everybody thinks, oh, if you go to New York, you can't buy that many clothes. I probably left with like 20 different outfits, which, awesomely, because they know you're not a fashion guru, the stylist takes pictures of, they write down like, oh, wear this with this and do this with this, and like give you all kinds of ideas for what to wear. And you leave with accessories and like a belt and jackets, and like I bought a new coat, all kinds of stuff. It's like a full wardrobe for the average person. Lots of mixing and matching possibilities and all that. So it's different for people who are in New York, but for me, because my family was in DC, they had to put us up in a hotel in DC and have the producers and the camera people and all these people come in. They set up a whole party for my family and friends. It took forever to get ready. I literally have not taken that long to get ready, like in life, like at all. The makeup and the hair person, they had all that there, and they redid everything. They set up the family in the room, and there was an open bar, which my family just went right through. And then I did the reveal, and everybody's like, oh, you know, hooray, hooray, fabulous. And then I go out and we did it again. And then I went out and we did it again. And then I went out and we did it again. And I'm not kidding, at the end, I think my mom was like, hooray, spirit finger. Like, they were dead. I don't think anyone can tell in the final cut, but seriously, we did that reveal at least like 5 times. And it took forever to film. But I was just happy to see my babies. They were all happy to see me. I sort of been wearing the same hair color ever since, but my hair was way shorter, like to here. I've grown it out, as you can see. It's like more down there. But most of the things I've kept. I still wear makeup every day. I still dress myself the same for the most part. Put on a couple pounds in about 8 years, but you know, I'm trying. But for me, I think the experience was positive. I think the biggest question I get from the show is like, who nominated me, my best friend, and are we still friends? Yes. It was the single most amazing experience I've had outside of birthing children, like becoming a mom. And I'm so grateful to her for nominating me and to my family for going along with it. You know, like to have your mom and your wife gone when you have like a toddler and a preschooler and all that for a week. It was a big sacrifice for my husband, my family. My parents helped out. My brother was involved. So I am so appreciative of everything everyone did to make that experience happen for me. And it really did make me feel better about myself. I had gotten to a point where I was just like, I felt like the frumpy mom. I was tired. I wasn't exercising. Just all these things were building up. And I had lost my sense of self. And like, having new clothes doesn't necessarily make you like a better person or anything, but it certainly helped me find myself again. Like, find the person that I can be, find things that I love about me. And it even inspired me to work out. I have since gotten off that wagon, but I know that I need to get back on it and back. But before this happened, it was just not something that I could have done. So thank you, Fam Bam, for the whole What Not to Wear experience. If you want to read up on everything that happened at the time, you can check out dudemom.com. Probably just go in the search and search What Not to Wear, and you will find tons of everything about everything on there. So thanks for tuning in. That's my story.